All right, hello, Plus Me family. Welcome back to another Our Stories Matter Feature Friday segment where we conduct interviews with community members and center the conversation around the theme of the week. My name is Bethany Epiphany, and I'm the program manager for the Plus Me Project. And this week, the theme or your journal activities all focused on your timeline and thinking about your journey up until this present moment. For our Feature Friday interview this week, we have Mary Miller. Mary is a psychiatric social worker for LAUSD, and we are so happy to have her here. Hi, Mary.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you for joining us on this Friday. Okay,
My pleasure.
we're gonna hop right into it.
Okay.
All right, so the first question is, if you had to use 3 words to describe your journey up until this point, what would those words be and why?
Wow. I would say one is blessed. One is unexpected.
Mm.
And the third word, I would say is thankful.
Those are some good words. I have to ask, why unexpected?
When I think about myself as a little girl, and I think about what I wanted to be when I grew up, what I expected my life to look like. And I can never say that I had a definitive idea of professionally what I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I had this expectation of what a family life would look like for me. And I expected that's just what everybody did. They got married and they had kids. So my journey has been very unexpected. I never got married. I didn't have children of my own. I have lots of godchildren and nieces and nephews and children around me, but I've never had children of my own. So that was unexpected. And then I was led into this profession that I didn't think I would have as a social worker. And it actually fit me perfectly. And it was actually what my life's work and what my profession should have been. And that was it just all the steps led me to that. And that was very unexpected that I would end up doing what I'm doing.
Wow, I like that. And I have a follow-up question to that,
Okay.
which is like, you talk about things being unexpected, and especially in terms of your career and what you do. How did you get led down this path to what you do?
And that's what's so unexpected and really kind of miraculous about it. And is that I had always been interested in people, always interested in why people did what they did. And so I studied psychology, I studied sociology. Sociology was my undergraduate major. And then I was getting ready to wrap up, and I'm like, well, there's not a lot of jobs in sociology. I'm either going to have to go get a job maybe in human resources, or I need to go to graduate school. And I think I want to get some type of counseling degree. And I went to go speak to my undergraduate advisor in sociology. Her name was Mary Jo. I'll never forget it. Because I said, well, this is what I'm considering. I live in the San Fernando Valley. Cal State Northridge is right down the street. Maybe I'll get my marriage and family, counseling, or maybe social work. I was at UCLA, an undergraduate at UCLA, and UCLA also had a master's program in social welfare. And she said, get your social work degree. She said, you'll be able to work in a lot of different places. It's pretty universal. Get your social work degree. And I was like, okay, that sounds good. And I applied. At the time that I was in school, old school, there were only 4 social work programs in the whole state of California. One in Berkeley, one in San Diego, and 2 in Los Angeles, one at USC and one at UCLA. So UCLA was really my only option because I wasn't going to move out of the area, and USC would be too expensive. So I said, well, I'll apply. If I get in and I don't get in, I'll work a year and then I'll apply again. And I got in. Thankfully, I got in. And the minute I walked in on the day of orientation, I'm like, yeah, this is exactly what I should have been doing. And when I told my grandmother, my paternal grandmother, I said, oh, I'm going to apply to the School of Social Welfare. She's like, you know, your grandfather and I were social workers. And I said, oh,
Wow.
I didn't know that, because they had been retired, and to me, that was their job. They were retired, but both of my grandparents were social workers. So
Wow.
that's when I say it was unexpected, and it was I was led to that. Um, yeah, and I knew it the minute I walked in the building.
I really appreciate that because I think for the students who are going to be watching this and they may not have a specific idea of, what occupation they should pursue. And so what you were talking about, you knew that you had a curiosity about people and why they did what they did. You had an inkling, you knew what you were interested in and wanted to know, and it kind of led you down a certain path.
Yeah,
And I kind of want our students to kind of go with that feeling as well, something that you are interested in, something that you're curious about, or, brings you joy and see where that leads you.
absolutely.
Um, and you also mentioned your grandparents and not knowing that they were in the same field. And I think that speaks to just how a lot of young people, they don't know their parents' stories or their grandparents' stories, and how it's important to share and have that moment of connection.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, and when you described your journey as blessed, why blessed?
When I think about particularly my professional journey, again, because I never had a real set idea of what direction I was going to be going in. And I look back on how all the steps, were laid out, nothing through really a strong initiative on my part, in that jobs that I've gotten, internships that I got, jobs that I got after, changes that I've made have been because opportunities were opened for me.
Hmm.
So when I, landed my second year, because when you're in graduate school for social work, you do an internship your first year and second year. Um, you the So the second year internship, when I finished that internship, a job had opened up, and I was able to get that job. And then I was there for many years, and I had friends who had been working with the school district and said, Mary, this is a really good job for a social worker. You should really apply. And so I finally, because change is hard for me. It's hard for me to change. And when I finally made that effort and made that up, made the application, had the interview, on my birthday, I got a call saying, we'd like you to start working for the school district. And that's been 20 years ago. And so I've been working
Wow.
with them ever since. And I've had some great jobs within the school district. And all of the jobs that I've had is because people have called me and said, hey, I think you might be interested in this based on what I know about you. And I've had some wonderful assignments because people have reached out to me and let me know about that. So unexpected in that way, in that, I was very fortunate and blessed to have these opportunities open up for me in a way where I wasn't working that hard.
Hmm.
And I don't think things happen just by happenstance. I mean, I'm a Christian, so I believe that my steps are laid for me.
Hmm.
And so that was, it was unexpected in my thinking, but it was not unexpected.
Right, right. No, I totally get that. And it sounds like you were in divine alignment, you were
Mhm.
in a divine flow. And I love that. I really, really do. My next question, do you have any regrets?
I really don't. I really don't. I'm at the age in my life where I am doing some reflection, and with our COVID-19 crisis and some of the extra time that we have, I've been doing some reflection, and I've been pretty nostalgic. But I really don't. I really don't, because again, I think because my belief system is that there are no accidents
Hmm.
and things do happen for a reason, that I am where I am because this is where I'm supposed to be. Um, I feel like, fortunately, I've been pretty blessed to make some pretty good choices for myself, um, or been guided to make pretty good choices for myself. And the regrets that I might have as far as maybe personal interactions or, um, doing things in college. Like I wish I had had maybe more fun in college
Mm-hmm.
because I was a very serious student and I was a commuter. So I was very focused on, let me get done with this class. I've got to beat the traffic and get back to the valley so I can get to work. So maybe I would have been a little more relaxed with that. But that really, outside of that and maybe some personal interactions, those are probably the only true regrets that I have.
Thank you. I think that's really good to hear. I'm glad that you have taken that time for that self-reflection, realize, as you said, you are where you are supposed to be. And I think that I know that for myself, when I was younger, I was unhappy because I was so focused on resisting where I was instead of using that opportunity to learn or grow or to be used in that space.
Yeah.
So I I can respect that for sure. My next question, if you could relive any moment, what would it be?
Oh, wow. There's so there's so many good ones. I mean, especially now
Hmm.
in the COVID-19, I've been very nostalgic and just been looking back at, on your, if you're a Facebook person,
Hmm.
they give you your memories every day. And I'm like,
Yes.
oh, a year ago I was doing this and a year ago I was doing that. Um, I would say the things that bring me the most joy are the time that I spend with family and friends and travel and celebrations.
Mm.
So, any and all of those times, I would love to relive births and weddings and graduations and, excuse me, some of the wonderful, beautiful vacations I've been on. Again,
Yes.
especially because of this time, because we're so limited in where we go and who we see, um, they seem even more special and more rich.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Where would you travel to after this is all over? If you could
Uh,
hop on a plane.
well, I was supposed to go to Alaska. I was supposed to go on an Alaskan cruise this summer. So that's been canceled. But that's my plan one day, get back, get to that. I would really like to go to Yellowstone.
Oh,
I
yeah.
would really like to do that. I'd like to see Mount Rushmore. Um, so those are a couple of places in my mind that hopefully will come up in the near future.
Oh, it will. I'm
Yeah,
sure it will, without a
yeah,
doubt.
yeah.
Looking over your life, when we reflect, sometimes we can uh, think about our own behavioral patterns. So, looking over your life, what behavioral patterns have you noticed about yourself? Are there patterns that you like, dislike?
Both, both. One of the things, and again, this time, you mentioned it, and I think it's really important, is when you're in the midst of something uncomfortable or quiet, is to stop and reflect. And for me, I'm like, what is the Lord telling me in this moment? Why am I in this space in this moment? And right now, we have a lot of time to do that. So one of the things I've really been thinking about is, impatience has been one of those qualities that I do not like in myself. And I've really had to, I've been challenged by that, especially now, waiting for things to open up, waiting for the crisis to get better, is to be patient and just be still,
Mm,
because I'm like mover. I like to be
yes.
on, I like to be doing things. And this has really been a time of patience and stillness.
Mm,
So I would say those are a couple of the qualities that have been a challenge for me. And I found for myself that I often get put in those positions where I have to really um, think about the things that are a challenge for me. That God puts me in places where I have to think about, where I'm having challenges. So I would say those are two areas that I've really had to work on. The qualities, you know, that, you know, I would say that are more positive is that I'm a hard worker, and I'm pretty diligent and consistent, responsible. So I will follow through, and I will follow through to the best of my ability to get tasks done. So I would say those are the positives.
That sounds like a really good positive, a very, very good positive. And I can relate to you in terms of impatience. And during this pandemic, it's been interesting to see how challenging it can be to be still. And like, it's a growing opportunity for
Yes,
sure, for
yes,
sure.
absolutely.
And for my final question, how have you evolved?
Well, I feel like I have really, you know, part of it is patience and grace.
Mm,
I feel I am more patient than I was when I was younger, and and more and and I give more grace than I used to. I
mm,
think I used to be very hard on people. My expectations were very high, and if you disappointed me, I was, you know, I let you know. You have disappointed me. You didn't follow through when you said you were going to follow through. You didn't follow through with how you said you were going to follow through. And, you know, I was hard on people. I was hard
mhm,
on people and
mhm.
hard on myself.
Yeah.
And so I think part of the maturity process is that I show more grace to others and to myself,
Mm.
and try to give people more of the benefit of the doubt. Um,
That's oof.
and so that's an ongoing growth area. But you know, when I reflect back, I'm hoping, you know, you know, that others would say that about me too, is that I give more grace than I
Mm.
used to.
I think that's a beautiful place to be in your evolution. It makes me think of something my mom would always say when I would be critical of other people, and I'm just like, they don't get it, or I don't understand how someone could be this way. And she would always be like, you know, if not for the grace of God, you know, there go I, you know.
Yeah,
So, you know, once you know better, you do better. And
yeah,
sometimes people don't know. They
yeah,
honestly, sincerely do not know.
yeah,
And so that I can relate to that so much,
yeah.
so much. And I just want to I want to say thank you for taking out the time to share parts of your story with us. I know that our students will appreciate your story. And before we close, I do want to just say to our students, and I know that there are a few adults that are going along this process with us. I just want to say that we are, in addition to understanding the stress caused by the pandemic, we are also fully aware of the social unrest that is going on
Yeah.
as a result of George Floyd being murdered. And I just want to remind everyone to make sure that they are taking care of themselves, that they are implementing their self care routines, whether that's listening to music, cooking, whatever you got to do. We want you to be as emotionally and mentally healthy as possible.
Yeah.
So please take that time. And with that, we are at a close, and I will see the rest of you back for Feature Friday next Friday. But thank you, Mary.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me, Beth.